Your skeleton is replaced with industrial-grade carbon fiber pipes right now. Every bone from your skull to your smallest toe is now a rigid composite weave. You feel lighter, stronger, practically indestructible. But the human body was not designed for aerospace materials. Things get weird. Weight is the first change. Carbon fiber is significantly lighter than calcium. Gravity feels optional. You jump, you go way too high. The lack of bone mass changes your center of gravity instantly. Balance becomes a memory. Movement is jerky. Every step feels like being operated by a malfunctioning crane. Then the biological reality hits. Bones aren't just struts, they are factories. Your marrow is gone. Blood production stops immediately. Strength is the immediate upside. Carbon fiber has an incredible strength-to-weight ratio. A falling piano would normally liquefy a rib cage. Now the piano simply bounces off. You are a walking crash test dummy, but strength is not the same as toughness. Bone is slightly flexible. It bends under pressure to absorb energy. Carbon fiber does not bend. It resists. It holds its shape with stubborn intensity until it reaches a critical failure point. This is called brittle failure. Instead of a clean break or a hairline fracture, the material stores potential energy like a massive spring. When that limit is hit, the energy releases all at once. The result is an explosive decompression of your entire frame. Then there are the joints. Cartilage is designed to glide against bone. It is not designed to rub against a reinforced polymer weave. Every movement now sounds like sandpaper on a chalkboard. Friction generates heat. Your knees begin to smoke. This is suboptimal. The thermal properties are the next disaster. Bone is a decent insulator. Carbon fiber is a thermal conductor. Step outside on a winter day. The cold travels through your frame with terrifying efficiency. Your core temperature plummets. Your organs freeze from the inside out because your skeleton is acting like a giant heat sink. Conversely, a hot summer day turns your ribs into heating elements. The internal organs begin to slow cook. You are essentially a human panini press. Then the electricity happens. Carbon fiber is conductive. A static shock from a doorknob is no longer a tingle. The current travels through the conductive weave of your spine. It doesn't just shock the nerves, it creates a localized electrical arc. Your nervous system is now a circuit board. One stray spark and your muscles lock in a permanent, rigid spasm. Now consider a high-impact event, a car accident. Normally, bones break to save the internal organs. They absorb the kinetic energy by snapping. Carbon fiber refuses to snap. The frame remains perfectly intact while the soft tissue does not. The skin and muscle are crushed against the unyielding pipes. You are basically a bag of jam wrapped around a very expensive bicycle frame. But eventually the impact exceeds the material's threshold. The failure is not a break. It is a catastrophic shatter. Carbon fiber fails by delaminating. The layers unzip. The stored energy from the impact is released in a supersonic spray of microscopic shards. Millions of needle-thin carbon filaments explode outward. They don't just leave the body. They shred everything in a 5-foot radius. The surrounding environment becomes a cloud of conductive, razor-sharp dust. You have effectively become a biological fragmentation grenade. The energy release is so violent that the remaining soft tissue is vaporized instantly. There is no body left, only a fine, gray powder and a very confused insurance adjuster. The aftermath is a nightmare. Carbon fiber dust is an electrical conductor. The cloud of your remains drifts into the nearest power grid. Short circuits trigger across the city. Transformers explode. The local power company experiences a total blackout because you decided to have a composite skeleton. But physics doesn't stop there. These microscopic needles are chemically inert. They don't decompose. The wind carries the shards of your femurs into the atmosphere. They enter the lungs of every bird and insect in the zip code. Local wildlife begins to experience internal lacerations. The ecosystem is now filled with high-tensile polymer splinters. It is an ecological disaster of aerospace proportions. Meanwhile, the structural fragments of your skull have embedded themselves into the asphalt. They are so hard they cannot be removed with standard road equipment. The city has to pave over the street 3 times to cover the remains. The debris is essentially permanent. Future archaeologists will find a perfectly preserved, high-tech rib cage in a layer of sedimentary rock, and conclude that the 21st century was inhabited by very rigid, very explosive cyborgs who were remarkably bad at surviving car crashes. So you are dead. Your body has disintegrated into a conductive cloud of industrial shrapnel. The city is in a blackout. The local pigeons are coughing up carbon filaments. You were stronger, lighter, and virtually indestructible until the exact moment you weren't. The transition from a biological entity to a localized disaster area took approximately 0.04 seconds. Science is efficient. But the real problem isn't the total vaporization of your physical form. It is the paperwork. Your life insurance policy explicitly forbids skeletal modifications using non-biological composites. The claim is denied. Furthermore, the city sues your estate for the cost of the power grid repairs. Your remaining assets are seized to pay for new transformers. This is a significant financial setback. Your bones are now a legal liability. Subscribe to the What If Club for more ways to accidentally bankrupt your heirs through experimental physics. We will see you in the next one.